I'm Matt Hillebrand, one of the principals here at Don's Appliances, joined by James Hayes, one of our sales associates here in Canonsburg.
Hi.
And we're going to dive into how can I buy a dishwasher, or what's the best process by which to buy a dishwasher. But before we jump into that, be sure to go to our Hot Buy of the Week, because as Chef would say, it's a sizzler. Can't wait to see this, and you don't want to miss it. So, James, let's jump in. So, I need a new dishwasher.
Sure.
So, I'm walking into our Canonsburg store, and walk me through what that process looks like.
Sure. So, knowing your measurements is really important on a dishwasher, the actual space, because they can kind of vary. You run into some older homes, and there might be some height restrictions and things through there. So that's usually the first thing I ask.
So not to interrupt, but from a height standpoint, what do you mean by that? So let's say I live in an old house. Mm-hmm. So what do you mean by height restrictions?
So from the floor to the bottom of the counter, we really need that measurement. Sometimes you might run into some issues where some flooring was laid down at one point over in front of the dishwasher, and then that restricts your opening height to get something else in there. In which case, there's some models out there that may not fit that space anymore. There are models that we can get that will fit those for you, though.
Those are what we call ADA heights, so those are shorter height units.
Yeah, they're usually about 32 3/4, so it gives you a little bit more play in the height.
Okay, so I need to measure then from the floor to the bottom of the counter.
Yes, that is correct.
And that measurement should be anywhere from 34 to 34 and a half?
Somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now is there a difference width-wise on dishwashers?
Oh, 100%. So most standard dishwashers are 24 inches wide. There are 18-inch models out there as well. So, some of the older homes that maybe were a little bit smaller kitchens will have 18s. Our bar areas, a lot of times people will utilize an 18. But that measurement is also important to know. The other thing too to really kind of have an idea when you come in is your plumbing, how things are run to the dishwasher. 90% of the time it's off the side of your sink, and you can look underneath of your sink and see the plumbing running through the side of the cabinet to it, and that's ideal. Most dishwashers will require that setup now. Some of the older homes, you'll still have plumbing or electrical coming up underneath of the dishwasher. That's a little harder to pinpoint unless you have the ability to kind of get under there and take a look yourself.
So if I don't have, let's say my sink is to the left or right of the dishwasher, and I don't have plumbing running to that, we're probably going to run into a problem, to your point, because it's probably running down through a floor.
Yes.
Into, let's say, a basement or other area.
That is correct.
Okay. And what happens, so if by chance that's the case and we uninstall that dishwasher, how can I rectify that?
Well, there's a handful of ways. So there are some dishwashers that still have open bottoms now. So if having a plumber coming in and moving the plumbing to a different spot isn't an option for you for some reason, maybe finished basement, something of that nature, then there are models we can get. It'll just limit your selection some.
Okay. So what if I have a wood panel on my current dishwasher so it matches my cabinetry? Can I buy a dishwasher that I can remount that wood panel onto a new dishwasher? 95%
of them out there you can. Sometimes you run into some models that had like a 3/4 height panel, meaning that there was like a control panel at the top that could have been a different finish and then the panel went underneath. Sometimes those are a little harder to replace, but if you had a full height panel, meaning the panel is the same height as all your cabinets and you can't see any part of the dishwasher from the front, those are usually pretty easily replaceable.
So I think it's safe to say that if you have exposed controls with a wood panel below, barring if you have a KitchenAid, if you have a GE, if you have really any mainline brand, you're not going to be able to reuse those panels.
That is correct.
The only time is if you have a Miele, which Miele still offers a panel ready with an exposed control panel.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so good to know. So if you have total hidden controls, we still have that option of reusing that panel.
Yes.
Okay, so from a price point, if I'm coming in and if I'm on a budget, so to speak, what options do I have?
price points, I mean, they run the gamut on dishwashers today. There's opening price points are usually somewhere in the $400 mark. Those are going to be more of plastic tub, plastic rack, a little bit noisier. And as you go up in pricing, I mean, they can go all the way up to almost $5,000 in some of these models that we carry here, and there's a lot of variance in between. So, you know, usually in that $800-900 price point, there's some great options there you can get that'll fit most people's needs. You know, and if you really want to step things up and you're looking for dishwashers you can wash crystal in, you know, we have models with water softeners and things like that as well.
So just real quick, so a $5,000 dishwasher, what's that going to do for me versus a $600 dishwasher?
Well, that particular model is a Miele Professional, so when you buy into something like that, it's a model that's really designed to stand the test of time. You know, they're rated to do about 13,000 cycles, and also speed. So that model, you know, depending on whether you do the 110 or 220, can do a cycle in about 52 minutes, start to finish, or about 30 minutes, start to finish.
Okay, so time. You know, so kind of like a car. You know, the more expensive the car, the faster it'll go.
Typically, yes.
You know, so on a dishwasher, you know, you can put a lot more things, let's say, in that more high-end dishwasher. It's going to go through the cycles a lot quicker. But also from a racking standpoint, it's probably going to give you a lot more options in terms of how you can put wine glasses in, or plates, or cookie sheets, etc. Right?
100%.
You know, so that basic dishwasher, let's say, and I'm a fan, by the way, of our basic Beckos.
Oh, they're great.
Our Beckos are priced exceptionally well. I think in white or black they're $549. Right?
I think they're $5.99 now.
$5.99, excuse me.
Yeah.
And then for stainless, it's a little bit more. But the racks in that are going to be definitely different than a more stepped up version of any of our other brands.
Sure, 100%. So the third rack is something that's become ubiquitous in the dishwasher world, right? A lot of people are coming from older ones, maybe aren't familiar with it, but that's where you would do your silverware and all these now.
And it's on the very top.
The very top, and you have a dedicated wash arm for that. That $5.99 Becko is a great value. 2 racks in it in a silverware basket. So
yeah, and it's, you know, and I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize, but it's also going to be, you know, the higher end you go, they're going to be quieter, right?
Oh, yes, 100%. So you can, the quietest one on the market right now, I believe, is a Gen Air at 38 decibels, which is virtually silent. And then, you know, when you go into that $500, $400 price point, they're more like 60. So you will definitely hear those run. If you have an open floor plan, you may want to look at a quieter option.
Anything at 44, though, is a great starting point. It's going to be tremendous. But also, when you're buying a dishwasher, be sure to buy a garbage disposal from us, because a lot of people don't know, when you have a dishwasher installed, if you buy a disposal from us at the same time, we're going to install it for free.
100%. And then our disposals, the grinds that we carry here, have a 10-year warranty on them.
Great units. Be sure to go to donsappliances.com. Thanks.